Previously on Maximization, I of course decided to play this game without pausing to guarantee 20 plus hours of recorded footage while simultaneously eliminating my social life. Like FTL, Into the Breach is another spectacular game made by the developers at Subset. Its finely polished roguelike progression system filled with unique and thought-provoking gameplay make it one of my favorite turn-based strategy games. Completion of the game hinges on upgrades you unlock throughout the campaign to aid you in the final fight against the Vec. Heck, upgrades are practically shoved down our throats. I think you can see where this is going, because in today's episode, we won't sully ourselves with nonsensical progression. Nay, we'll be raw dogging this vanilla bean hard mode experience with no mech upgrades to find out which starting lineup of pilots and mechs are best. Join me as we nuke these low IQ abominable insects back into the carnivorous period. This is Maximization. Into the Breach is a war game, and as such, I've decided to read Sun Tzu's Art of War, and to ensure none of the original Mandarin meaning is lost, I translated the original quote myself to reveal its true wisdom, and it read, "Understand thy enemy, and understand thyself. You are a wood, don't need it, fear, outcome, 100 battles." Truly inspirational. So I applied this sage-like advice similar to how a pharmacist deciphers doctor handwriting, and booted up into the game. Using console commands, I teleported to the end stage to learn about my enemy, and if this boss fight is half as hard as the flagship in FTL, I'll probably get my ass handed to me. What was that? All of the hours of research and planning gone. My video. Wait, we can fix this. In the fight, there were several instances when a pylon was destroyed. So let's add a condition that no pylon or building can be destroyed along with any of my mechs. Also, to add some stakes to this fight, it would be boring if the runs held no meaning, so I'll be playing through the minimum 2 islands perfectly before attempting the final fight. What could go wrong? By now you might be wondering, what exact variable do we need to maximize in order to win? Well, we need to reduce the Vec's ability to have turns, either through crowd control or death. Essentially we'll be. So I opened up Excel, the most interesting and entertaining of the data processing tools, where I jotted down each pilot and mech effect, along with highlighting high value targets. In a test run, I generated a team of the highest damage dealers to see how they would stack up to the challenge, and it was absolutely crushed to realize the entry level damage our mechs were dealing was too little to kill high HP enemies. But while we didn't scale into the late game, our opponents did. So I made a team that focused on using our enemies' damage against them. This leads us to the next problem of the challenge: coverage. You see, our units are like small ill-behaved children, grounded, and just like bad children, become unable to use their weaponry in water. Here you can see a scenario that came up where a flying Vec was literally untouchable for our team. Even if I had better positioning, none of my weapons could nullify the damage that would be done to the building. We need better coverage, and that means flying mechs or the use of Prospero. There are 6 flying mechs in the game, 2 of which we can throw out immediately for being steaming hot trash. I'm so sorry, Cyborg Vec, you're so much better with upgrades. But which avenue do we explore? We could try to work around the cryo launcher's self-freeze mechanic, or use the acid to double our damage. I reconsulted the Art of War and discovered another eye-opening quote stating, "Rip fat bong clouds, my broskies. Clams, clams, clams." So I journeyed to my nearest Long John Silver's, picking up some clams.
Hey, do you got any clams?
Clams?
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Can I get some clams?
With third-degree burns blemishing the roof of my mouth, I started hitting dank rips on my enemies. Little did the Vec know they were secretly getting lung cancer that would manifest 20 years down the line. I threw together a pesticide team and launched into action, ripping fat clouds one after another, but the enemies would still overwhelm me, or be unhittable in a corner. In the back of my mind, I knew this wasn't the build, but I was too busy combating my shellfish allergy to realize this, and wasted several hours of my life, along with my EpiPen, attempting this run. Before forming my next squad, we need to talk about a key and paramount concept. But first, did you know that only 20% of you who watch my videos are subscribed? So if you like the content, click that sub button. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, this pivotal concept is positioning. Ever watch a basketball game where the defense takes a 2-1-2 formation and the attacker's like, I got this, and the defense is like, no you don't, looking ass? The concept is to protect the goal by situating people around the immediate perimeter. In this case, our units have limited movement, meaning overextending to the edges of the map is like shooting hoops from the stands. Just doesn't work. Here you can see a visual representation of squares our units can move to, and red where they can attack. We need to keep our mech centered to maximize the area of coverage. I readjusted our mech lineup and replaced one of our smoke artilleries with a grappler. I then switched the loadouts between fighter jet and grappler, beefing up the jet to insane levels. Why is it insane? Well, since the grapple hook costs no reactor cores to power, we can throw the additional core we saved into movement, increasing our range of coverage. Grapple has the ability to grab that ass, which becomes overpowered when using it in tandem with liquid tiles, resulting in instant KO, drip, money. But now you might be wondering, what about the different pilots and their unique effects? How do they play into the equation? Turns out there's really only one supreme pilot, a Zoltan by the name of Mafan. He gets an overshield every turn, completely negating status effects and damage, a free reactor core, and looks sick as hell. You could say I'm a fan of his. I'm so sorry. Wait a minute. Negate status effects. We could try to work around the cryo launcher's self-freeze mechanic. Also, you can extend the length of the video by other ways instead of multiple flashbacks. I sprinted to my computer, toilet paper still in my ass crack, and loaded into the game. Huzzah! Now every turn we can effectively Epstein a Vec, semi-permanently removing them from the game. I started grinding out runs over and over again, but kept getting terrible pylon placement RNG, causing my runs to fail. I was still missing something. The weakest link of my squad was the smoke artillery unit. Being the only non-flying type, it made positioning difficult, but I had to abide by the ancient wisdom of Sun Tzu, and giving up Smokey would be too heartbreaking. Then all of a sudden, like Isaac Newton discovering gravity, I was struck on the head by the art of war, and I realized I had misinterpreted the last statement. I accidentally translated the book upside down, meaning the message was reversed. Right then I knew what I had to do. But who do we replace old Smokey with? That's when I remembered from earlier in the vid.
No more flashbacks.
It was basic artillery. He can push people, which is somehow more valuable in the final fight than Smokey. Are you happy? As soon as I switched into old reliable, we destroyed the Vec, saving the timeline, and finally proving humanity's superiority over these shitty little bugs.
Are you really gonna plug yourself again in a 7-minute long video?
No, I wouldn't tell my audience to like, subscribe, and share the video. What type of creator do you think I am?